Hey guys, what's going on? It's Waldo, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the first episode of my Madden NFL 15 Connected Franchise Mode series. I'm going to be using the Philadelphia Eagles as they're my favorite team, as you can see up there at the top right next to my PSN ID. I'm going to import this custom roster. I'm pretty sure it's the most recent one. I think I downloaded it last week, late December, so it should be the most recent one. And we're just going to do a coach, active coach. I don't feel like going through and creating my own coach, so we're just going to go ahead and use Chip Kelly. And we're just going to go through all this hopefully pretty quickly. I'm going to do all pro skill level because the slider set I use, I'll leave a link for them down in the description. They are specified, they're created for an all pro skill level, not in all Madden, so I'll be using all pro. If I need to change that at some point, I will. We'll see how things go though. Quarter length, we're going to go ahead and do 12 minutes. I tried doing 13, 14, and 15, but the games tended to be too high scoring, so I'm going to try 12. That should be good. 13 was solid, but I think 12 will be right on. I'm going to keep the accelerated clock on and run it down to 15 seconds. The game speed is slow. That's just a prerequisite for the slider set. The player progression frequency, we're going to do end of the season. And most of these other settings, they should be, I'm going to turn that off, most of these other things should be okay. Coin toss, first choice, kick, second choice against win, that's just a personal preference. Strafe assist is going to go off, coaching tips we're going to go off, so is ball hawk and switch assist. We're going to use the standard camera, and we're going to do triangles. We're going to do square cross triangle, that's good. I'm going to turn the tutorial pop-ups off, turn that off, turn that on, and turn that off. So that should be good to go. So we're going to go to start this career now. And yeah, start career. So pretty excited to be doing this. I actually just found out that you can actually record gameplay on your PS4. I thought you could only live stream it, but I guess you can actually record this and now you can actually upload it to YouTube, which is pretty cool. So I think I'm going to be utilizing that feature a lot. I never really had the money for like an Elgato or another HD PVR, like a Blackmagic or an AverMedia or something, so this is really good for me, so I think it's going to be pretty fun. But anyway, we're going to just go ahead and start this league. I might end up doing a fantasy draft connected franchise mode later, but for right now we're just going to do this Chip Kelly Eagles. And this episode we're just going to go ahead and see our roster, see what we have to work with. And next episode we're going to actually start playing games. I'll decide if I'm going to do preseason or not. I'm not really sure if I'm going to play the preseason games. I might just simulate them, but we'll see. If you guys want me to play the preseason games, just leave a comment and I'll definitely play them. Eagles, of course, coming off the 2013 season, finished 10-6. They lost in the first round of the playoffs to the New Orleans Saints on a last-second field goal, and this year they finished 10-6, but they ended up finishing second in the division to the Dallas Cowboys, who finished 12-4, and that's actually the way the division ended, as you see it right there. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, and the hapless Washington Redskins. So we're just going to go ahead and check out this roster here, see what we have to work with. Wait for it to load up, and there we go. I guess Fletcher Cox is our best player here. So quarterbacks, we have Nick Foles, who's going to be our starter, Sanchez as the backup, Barkley and G.J. Kinney. Halfbacks, McCoy, of course, Sproles, one of the best 1-2 punches, if not the best in the NFL. Chris Polk, I'd like to see him get some short yardage situations in this connected franchise mode because the guy is just so powerful. I wish the Eagles would have utilized him more this season, but that's neither here nor there. And then Kenyon Barner from Oregon and Matthew Tucker from TCU. He's actually a solid running back. He hasn't really played much in the regular season over the past couple of years, but in the preseason he's actually looked solid. Fullback James Casey. Of course, most teams don't use a fullback anymore, but we'll see if Casey gets any time. Perhaps he'll go in a tight end, but we'll see. So wide receiver, we have Macklin, Matthews, Smith, Cooper, Huff, and Mail. I might end up moving Cooper to the 2, Matthews to the 3, Huff to the 4, and then Smith and Mail, but we'll see what happens. Tight end, obviously, Ertz and Selleck. I hope to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, but we'll see how that goes. And then Trey Burton, the rookie we got from Florida, and John Durenbos, that's our long snapper. He's not going to be in for offense, most likely, at least I hope not. And then Jason Peters, our starting left tackle, Mathis, our starting left guard, along with Dennis Kelly backing him up. Then we have Jason Kelsey as the starting center. Madden, I think, really underrates him. I think he should be a higher overall than 80, but maybe next year. David Molk and Julian Vandervelde will be backing him up. I think it's Vandervelde, or it might be Vandervelde. I'm not entirely sure, I forget. And then Todd Harriman, 69 overall, Matt Tobin, 63, and Andrew Gardner, 63. And rounding out our offense, we have Lane Johnson, second year out of Oklahoma, Alan Barbary, and Kevin Graff. So now we move on to the defensive side of the ball, where the Eagles had a little bit of struggles in 2014. Yeah, Cedric Thornton, a really good run-stopping left end, along with Vinnie Curry, who did really well in limited playing time, and Taylor Hart, the rookie out of Oregon. And you have Fletcher Cox, one of the best up-and-coming defensive players in the NFL, as you can see right there, 93 overall. The guy's a monster, and Brandon Bear out of Oregon as well. Defensive tackle Benny Logan and Bo Allen. Obviously, the Eagles run a 3-4 defense, so they'll be playing nose tackle for most of the season. They have good size for, obviously, Benny Logan 6'2", 315, and Bo Allen 6'2", 333. Move to the linebacking core, Connor Barwin, only 27 years old, 86 overall, and Marcus Smith II, the first-round pick that did absolutely nothing for the Eagles this year. Move to middle linebacker, Michael Kendricks, another one of the best up-and-coming defensive players in the NFL. D'Amico Ryans, Emmanuel Acho, Casey Matthews, and Najee Good. Oh, I think I accidentally just clicked the circle button on my controller there. I'm sorry about that. But now we're just going to go right back to right outside linebackers. We have Trent Cole, who's getting a little older. He'll be an interesting case come off-season. And then Brandon Graham and Brian Bremen. Cornerbacks, obviously the weak point of the Eagles this season, along with safety. You have Kerry Williams at the 1, Boykin at the 2, Fletcher at the 3, Carroll the 2nd at the 4, and Watkins rounding out that core. I think I'm going to keep Boykin there at the 2nd cornerback position, because obviously we figured out that Bradley Fletcher has a little bit of trouble out there. So Malcolm Jenkins starting free safety, followed by Chris Maragos and Jerome Copeland the 3rd. Maragos may be a special teams guy, so he probably won't see the field that much, but we'll see. And then strong safety, Nate Allen, Earl Wolf, Ed Reynolds, and Chris Krasinski, the guy the Eagles signed about a quarter or halfway through the season from the Jaguars. So Cody Parkey, our kicker, he's only 79, but if you go all the way down to kick power, 94 kick power, 91 kick accuracy, the kid's really, really good. So I hope he turns out to be the Eagles kicker for the next decade or so. That'd be awesome. And then Donnie Jones, Donnie Longball is our punter, and there's our pick. So that's our roster right now. And if we go ahead and look at the sliders that I'm going to be using, and as I said before, I'll leave a link to these sliders in the description. Oh, I think I actually have to, import these custom sliders. Yeah, so QB accuracy at a 10, and you can just, I'll just scroll down here so you can see these. They're made by, I think the name of them is Armor and Sword, or Armor Sword. So you could get them off the share place on this game. I had to put them in manually, but these are the sliders. They're pretty solid. I think I played a couple games with them, and I think they're actually probably the best slider set I've ever used for a Madden game. I forget the ones I used last year, but they were the Operation Sports ones, I can tell you that. And they were solid, but compared to these are just, in my opinion, so much better. So we're going to keep that there. And then we also have an auto sub set up, which if you guys want to see that, I think it's in the team roadmap. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'll show you the auto sub frequency, which also goes along with the... Actually, I think I'm going to have to manually put that in, but it's in the link in the description. You can find these auto subs. I'm going to change them, but yeah, I'm going to edit the auto subs as well. And before we end this episode, there's a couple free agents that I'm interested in signing for the start of the preseason, and let me know if you guys like these moves. David Akers, rest in peace. That's a shame. The Eagles used to have him. Used to have him too. That's crazy. But yeah, so I looked over this a couple times, and at cornerback, there's actually a lot of solid players here. You have Champ Bailey, Asante Samuel, Chris Houston, Corey Webster, Quentin Jammer, Dimitri Patterson will be set in as well, and Dante Robinson. But I think we're actually going to sign a couple cornerbacks, seeing as though cornerback was one of the weakest positions on this team. And we're an attacking 3-4 scheme, so obviously Quentin Jammer would fit in well with us, but looking at their ratings, Greer 87 in play recognition, 87 in man, 89 in zone, so I think I'm going to give him a contract. And I think I decided to give the second, because I'm only going to sign 2 out of Greer, Samuel, and Bailey, and I think I ended up signing Samuel because of his play recognition. You see Bailey's only 93. He's better in man, but he's looking at the zone 93 to 85. So I'm actually going to end up signing Jabari Greer to a 1-year contract, 2.17 mil. I'm also going to sign Asante Samuel. And just looking through some of the free agents, I was looking around. I was going to sign perhaps a different right guard, and I could sign Chris Snead to give Todd Harriman some competition. And you know what? Thinking about that now, it's actually not such a bad idea. So I'm going to go ahead and sign Chris Snead to a 1-year, $1.38 million contract, and that should be all the moves. So now if we look at our roster, it's a little better. So, here we go. So we look at the roster and go to cornerback first. Go to the cornerback position first, and there it is. Now you see we have some competition: Greer, Williams, Samuel, Boykin, Fletcher, Carroll II, and Watkins. Ideally, I would like to see Greer take over as the #1 cornerback over Williams. I wouldn't mind seeing Samuel in the nickel, Boykin outside. That's ideal. But of course, we can use Kerry Williams as the #2, but you know, we'll figure all that out in the preseason. But anyway, guys, I think this is the end of the first episode, so thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and be on the lookout for the next episode. So once again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.